So, folks, we have come here together to discuss the sad state of affairs in UK politics, which is a welcome break for those of us in the United States who get too depressed with the state of affairs in the United States and need a break to a different depressing setting every now and then. So, when we turn our attention to the UK, and I really dig through everything that is going on. There's so much, the attacks on trans youth, the attacks on immigrants, etc. It's truly disgusting. But really, what the UK is dealing with right now is this insurgent. I mean, there's no other way of saying it. This insurgent strain of just straight up Nazism, like just straight Nazi shit that's happening right now. It's crazy. And I want to really hone in on that, right? What is happening down there at the bottom of UK politics? And of course, there's no better place to go for the absolute bottom of the barrel scummish takes than good old Sargon of Akkad.
So the powers that be, at least local councils, have decided they're going to start taking out injunctions to stop people from raising the flags because of the Raise the Flags, Raise the Colours campaign. And I just hate this, right? So in Oxfordshire, the local council secured an injunction against three guys who are the leaders of nationalist group Raise the Colours. So good lads, really, really respect their work. So they've got a High Court injunction against it to fly them on lampposts in Oxfordshire, because the local authorities are like, no, we hate you putting up the England flag in England. They told the High Court they would.
Wow, that sounds absolutely outrageous. Now, I don't know anything about any of the things he's talking about here, so you know what? Let's actually go and take a look at the article he is looking at here. From June 23rd, nationalist group leaders agree to stop hoisting St. George's flags in Oxfordshire. Okay. So, a nationalist group, you say? Well, I'm not really familiar with this Raise the Colours campaign. Wonder what that's all about. Yeah, wait a minute. What is that? What is Raise the Colours? Oh, it's a British far-right group whose members attach flags to lampposts and engage in anti-migrant vigilantism. Interesting. Co-founded by Ryan Bridge and Elliot Stanley, two businessmen from Birmingham and North Worcestershire, England. That's interesting. Okay, so but all they want to do is fly flags, right? They just want to fly flags. What's the harm in flying flags? All right? What's the harm? Let's see. Historian of the British far right, Nigel Copesley, notes that in late 2025, several Raise the Colours members shifted from symbolic flagging to extraterritorial vigilantism along the Normandy coast. In November, members of Raise the Colours visited grave lines. From there, Ryan Bridge filmed content for the organization's social media pages in which members of the group waded into the sea, shouting at migrants boarding dinghies and speaking in sound bites about the hundreds of thousands of undocumented men committing murders, gang rapes, and the indigenous white population being replaced in our own country. Oh, so they're white nationalists. Like, when I said the Nazism taking root in the UK, this is exactly what I mean. They're white nationalists, and they're just to really hammer this home, for their social media page, they had members of the org wade into the ocean and yell at the heavens. Literally, old man yells at clouds, but more racist. It's crazy. It genuinely wild to describe this as just some people who wanted to fly flags. It's illegal to fly flags in your own country now. And also, they're espousing great replacement theory, which, surprise, surprise, is an anti-Semitic theory that goes, or conspiracy theory, I should say, that goes that secret groups of Jews are plotting to replace indigenous white people with, people of color who are naturally inferior, according to the theory, in order to weaken the nation so that this group of Jewish people can take over. That's the argument. Indigenous white people. People in Europe talk about indigenous white people. When, again, they're also white nationalists. But, yeah. Indigenous to the UK. Though also worth noting that the people who live in England are not usually indigenous to the UK, largely because a lot of them are a result of the Norman invasion and several different invasions of, the British Isles in particular. Like, there are, like, some indigenous ethnic groups there, but, like, usually not the people who are talking about being indigenous to the UK. Yeah, a lot of them are Danish, it's a whole thing. Anyway, I'm not getting into that right now.
I just want my 6 feet 5 inches olive-skinned Amazonian woman future. Is that too much to ask?
Apparently from these racists, yes. So anyway, I don't want to get into, you guys are tempting me too much with, like, talking about the Dane law and talking about, like, the 1066 and the branching paths of, the UK's history that could have happened. You guys are tempting me too much. I've written a lot about this in the past. I don't want to have that conversation right now, but not because I'm not interested. I just would get on a huge tangent that would be irrelevant to what I'm trying to talk about here. All right. That being said, here, basically, these guys went to France to attack migrants. And that's exactly what they did here, right? Our country is doing nothing. Weak government, weaker borders, they're doing nothing. So we need to make a stand, boys. The iPaper reported that the group's recruitment efforts involved pumping out a high volume of videos filmed in France of their confrontations with those in the Calais camps, which refugee camps in France. On subsequent visits to France, Bridge, one of the founders of the organization, was joined by Tommy Robinson, noted white nationalist, associate Danny Tomo Tomas, who has a conviction for attempted kidnap and who has been described as undoubtedly a far-right individual with well-established positions within the British far-right scene. On one trip, Bridge and Thomas traveled to Paris, where they filmed themselves harassing homeless migrants sleeping on the streets, posting the videos on the Raise the Colors social media pages. According to the iPaper, in the videos, the men repeat several claims commonly used by the far right, such as saying that migrants entering the UK illegally are all rapists and murderers coming to a town near you. In one video filmed from their car, the pair accuse one of the migrants of holding a knife despite his hands being empty and make him stand back from the car window. The men also made a number of unsubstantiated claims and conspiracies informed by their short time in France, including stating gangs are not involved with the recruitment of migrants. Gangs are not involved with the movement of migrants over the English Channel. And these people were then banned in France, by the way, because they kept going to France and harassing people. In a December 2025 stream, they walk around Dunkirk, during which they accused members of the Doctors Without Borders of supporting an invasion of the UK by migrants. According to the MSF's coordinator, the MSF car was followed by Bridge and 2 other men in a British registered car. And when the MSF members parked, the Raise the Colors members approached them, verbally abused them, and tried to prevent them from closing their car door when they got back into it. And they also confronted journalists, etc. And in January of 2026, it was reported that French authorities were considering arresting members of the group. And then the French Interior Ministry announced that 10 British nationals identified as activists within the movement and having carried out actions on French soil belonging to the far right had been banned from entering or residing in the country. Cool stuff. Cool stuff. But yeah, no, these are all really cool dudes. These are all really great guys, according to Sargon of Akkad. And also, let's just take a look. This is a really solid man, according to Sargon. This Bridge fellow. Bridge has filmed himself describing law and order in Afghanistan under the Taliban as second to none and perfect. According to the Birmingham Mail, Bridge has repeated his view that the only Afghanis fleeing the country are the shit of this country and the deserters. Yes, you are in serious trouble if you break the law in Afghanistan, but people who leave want to come to the UK for financial benefit and because they are wrong-uns. You know how people talk about a lot of like rural MAGA folk being Al Qaeda because they're conservative and effectively agree with Al Qaeda and like very far right conservative groups that are fundamentalist and religious in the US. Raise the Colors is basically the Al Qaeda of the UK. Like it's just genuinely crazy to see. But let's hear out the rest of Sargon's arguments.
Not raise St George's flags from Oxford on Oxfordshire County Council property, encourage others to do so, or impede council workers from taking them down. And of course, I'm not encouraging anyone to do any of that either. I just think this is ridiculous, right? So there was a fourth one who wasn't present at court who agreed to have nothing more to do with flags. This is mad. The injunction was led by Liberal Democrat-led council and also bans painting flags on roads, harassing council staff involved in removing flags, and encouraging anyone in these actions. Right. So if they didn't feel threatened by this, why would they do it? Why
would they do it? Why would a city not want these flags hung up everywhere by a group so vile that their leadership got banned from going to France because they were so racist and couldn't help themselves? You know, it's kind of like people being like, what? This group just wants to put crosses up everywhere. They just want to put crosses up because they're religious and they believe in their religion. They believe in Christianity. They just want to put crosses up everywhere. You know, they want to put some crosses up outside of like you know, a lot of African American homes. What's so wrong with that? And it's just like, bro, it's because the KKK is racist.
Why does Carl Gunn of the platform look like he's on Home Shopping Network?
Probably because he's at rock bottom.
Would they spend any amount of time taking legal action against people putting up the England flag? Right? It's because they do feel threatened by it.
Let's be very clear. He is saying that the people of the UK in a UK town/city are threatened by the English flag. That's crazy.
Friendly reminder that Sargon has the whitest palate known to man. Bro can't handle pepper in his food.
What? A garnish grown on non-British soil? Impossible. Couldn't possibly handle it. Now, of course, let's take a look here at the actual article without Sargon talking about it here. Ryan Bridge. Oh, hey, that was one of the guys who got banned from France for, you know, hate criming people. See, told the High Court on Tuesday they would not raise St. George's flags from Oxfordshire County Council property, encourage others to do so, or impede council workers from taking them down. Now, the important thing here is that it's not just you can't hang up the flags, because there were other elements at play here too, which was specifically you also can't tell other people to do it for you, and you also can't stop them from taking it down, which would imply that they had previously been trying to stop people from taking them down and having confrontations with local government officials about it. Now, let's continue reading through this and using our critical abilities, all right? Balthazar, thank you for the $5 super chat. Wait, are you telling me a country that used to have a global empire and was known for conquering the world would have people fearing the Union Jack? Yeah, no kidding, right? Also bans painting flags on roads, harassing council staff involved in removing flags, and encouraging anyone in those actions. It's a sad day for the flag of our country and what it represents. Seeking clarification from the judge about what could amount to encouraging others to raise flags from lampposts, he said, "My worry is that putting a flag up for the football tonight, that would be encouraging others. That's outrageous. It's outrageous that I'm here." Diaz said Bridge could continue erecting flags on his own property as he was legally entitled to. At the start of the hearing, Cullen said, "My position is I would still like to keep putting flags up in Oxfordshire." Later, he said, "I will not do it in the future in Oxfordshire." Wells said, "I'm not going to have anything to do with the flags anymore." But like, this is the thing, right? It isn't saying you can't fly the flag, which is the entire thing. Right? Sargon is acting, they won't let you fly the flag anymore in the UK. And it's just like, no, you can fly the flag on your own flagpole. You can't just go around leaving shit everywhere. That's a problem. That'd be a problem if it was leaving other random flags around. It would also be a problem if you were just throwing like garbage on the ground. Someone has to come and clean that shit up. Acting like this is inflammatory is
Next
crazy.
thing you'll tell me Genghis Khan flag was feared in 1200 for some unknown reason.
Right? Genghis Khan, very cuddly. Loved horses. Cool dude. Nothing problematic about him whatsoever. Sake Tanuki, thank you for the 5 tier 1 subs. Documents submitted to the court by the council said it was seeking to ban attaching flags or causing flags to be attached to highway structures, painting or marking flags on the highway, obstructing officers or contractors from removing flags from highway structures, and causing harassment, alarm, or distress to officers or contractors who are or have been involved in the removal of flags from highway structures. Now, what's interesting is the way this is described makes it sound like, oh, hey, they were actually hanging these in such a way that it might be dangerous to motorists. Which, yeah, makes sense why they would then this would have to be escalated in a legal sense as well. The council accused them and others of repeatedly and unlawfully attaching flags to lampposts and other highway structures and having encouraged others to do the same. They also ignored requests to desist, the court heard. In documents submitted to the court, the council accused members of the campaign of intimidating council staff. It said, the named defendants and others have also obstructed the claimant's employees and contractors while they have sought to remove flags from highway structures and or attempted to intimidate the claimant's employees and contractors by naming and shaming them.
We need Rumble in the Jungle too, but instead of Foreman versus Ali in Zaire, it's VOOSH versus Sargon in Zimbabwe.
Good luck. Thank you for the $5 dono, though. But this is the thing, right? This is probably one of the final nails in the coffin on why this got elevated. The council added, a member of the council has been targeted. In January of 2026, flags were attached to lampposts in her street, and she has been subjected to hostile and abusive emails. So these people started harassing an elected member of government and then started like purposely trying to intimidate her outside of her own house. And that kind of makes a little bit more sense. That this isn't just like you can't fly the flag anymore in the UK. Because you can still fly the flag. You can fly the flag on your own goddamn property. You just can't go around town putting shit where you want and obstructing motorists. But let's continue watching Sargon try to paint this as if it is an attack on the very notion of English identity.
They feel like the flag is a statement of ownership, and they are trying to literally say to you, the English do not own England anymore. That's their opinion.
That's not what they're saying.
Colonialist British are always in denial.
They're trying to say you can't have all these laws in America against putting up crosses and burning them. They're trying to say you can't be Christian anymore by denying us our right to burn crosses where we please. And it's just like, that's obviously bullshit, right? That, like, in the American context, that would be obviously bullshit. But for whatever reason, in this particular context where this has been turned into a hate symbol by white nationalists in the UK. Oh no, it's an attack on our very identity as English people in the UK. Like, come on. That's insane.
Opinion. The Raise the Colours campaign has been putting up flags across the country since August last year. Bridge, who like the other defendants was representing himself, told the court that counsel were using bullying tactics but agrees to the proposed terms of the injunction. It's a sad day for the flag of our country and what it represents. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And this is just the common sense opinion of the leaders of left-wing councils.
It's not even a left-wing position. You have the right to fly whatever flag you want. You on your own property. You don't have the right to other people's property or to the communal property. That's just it, full stop. Even conservatives generally would agree that you have the right to do what you want on your own property. You don't have the right to do whatever you want in public.
Literally, they take the flag of the country as an aggressive statement against minorities, because in a way it kind of is to tell minorities, no, this country belongs to a people. This isn't just undiscovered land that you have rocked up on and just started claiming benefits in. This actually is someone's homeland, and they don't want you to do that. They do not want you to have that opinion. They don't agree with it. They don't think you have a claim to the country above any and all immigrants, anyone who sets foot here, as far as they're concerned. So it's just quite mad. It's just quite mad.
You don't have the right to fly a Nazi flag on your own property? Well, that's why they fly the St. George flag. It's their stand-in. And give it a few years, if this far-right continues to metastasize in England, it wouldn't surprise me if the Nazis finally succeed in their blitz. It just kind of seems to me like
this will always be my favorite flag-related story.
CNN removes video of reporter mistaking sex toy banner for ISIS flag. Oh, that's really great. Thank you.
The council accused them and others of repeatedly and unlawfully attaching flags to lampposts. Oh, yeah, show me the law. And other highway structures, and have encouraged others to do the same. And they've all ignored requests to desist. And they were also mean to members of the staff. So it's like, oh, okay, yeah, no. you don't get to have a country because the wokoids on Oxfordshire County Councils don't want you to have one. Oh, okay, well then we just won't have flags, right? We are not allowed to put up flags in public in our own country, even though...
Yeah, you are not entitled to fly flags on publicly owned buildings. If you put them up all over the place, yeah, you're gonna run into some issues. If you put up one, probably not illegal. But you start doing it all over the place, somebody has to come and clean that shit up.
It was never something that had ever occurred to anyone before. Someone's put a flag up on this thing. Oh, okay, interesting. But I mean, we do have a woke American gay pride flag in the village I live in. But anyway, don't worry about it, right? People can defy it, as Bristol City Council have also decided to ban England flags from public property.
Yeah. Because you look at the fucking picture attached to the article, man. This is all over the damn place.
But the locals are just not having it. Torrington Avenue in Bristol were told by their Green-held city council to stop the tradition of decking out the street with England flags early this month, ahead of the World Cup kicking off. The diktat sparked fury from locals, who told LBC they thought the ruling from Councillor Tony Dyer was a nonsense. What people cannot do is fly on flags on lampposts or railings or any public property. He told residents, we are currently taking down flags in sensitive locations as a priority and will be reviewing our strategy for removing other flags on our property. Oh, it's our property.
Yeah, it's public property. There's a distinction. I can't... Dude, you ran to be part of the British government. You ran to be a a member of the UK's parliament. And you do not understand the distinction between public and private property? That's crazy. That's wild. Anyway, let's look at the article he's looking at. England's most patriotic street defies Killjoy Green Council to fly World Cup flags again. All right, let's get into it. Torrington Avenue in Bristol were told by their Green-held city council to stop their tradition of decking the street with England flags earlier this month ahead of the World Cup kicking off. The diktat sparked fury from locals who told LBC that they thought the ruling from Councillor Tony Dyer was a nonsense. What people cannot do is fly flags on lampposts or railings or any public property, said the Green leader of Bristol City Council. He told residents, "We are currently taking down flags in sensitive locations as a priority and will be reviewing our strategy for removing other flags on our property." Dyer added that Bristol must remain welcoming, respectful, and safe for everyone during the tournament. Let's take a look here. Former Bristol Mayor George Ferguson called the scene chilling, adding, "It's not true patriotism, but a deliberate intimidation of minorities. Our national flag has, under the guise of supporting England, been captured by those seeking to spread fear." So this is the issue, right? Like, a lot of locals are like, what? It's just an English flag. I don't understand, mate. The old mayor of the town understands, hey, wait a minute. This means something different ever since hate groups started using it as a symbol to otherize minorities. You can take something that is relatively benign or agreed upon as a good symbol, and if enough dickheads start using it to be dickheads, suddenly that symbol becomes something that means something very different to the people who are targeted for abuse by the people who have now appropriated that symbol, right? Like, say, if a nationalist group started using some kind of flag as their symbol and calling card for trying to intimidate minorities, members of local government, and were putting out videos on social media encouraging members to harass homeless refugees and intimidate humanitarian responders who are helping them to survive. That might, for example, catalyze something to be viewed as a hate symbol. And in a case like that, you should not be mad about people saying, hey, that's now being viewed as a hate symbol by some people, please take it down. Instead, you should be mad at the people who have appropriated your symbol that you liked and started using it for evil. And the solution to that is telling Nazis to fuck right off into the sun. Now, I don't think we're going to get that response from Sargon of Akkad, though. Just got that feeling.
Council not entitled to its own private property. But why are they doing this? Well, because he said, Bristol must remain welcoming, respectful, and safe for everyone during the tournament. And apparently, if you put up England flags, that causes foreigners to screech like vampires presented with garlic. No.
What's crazy to me, though, is that this guy's going like, yes, the foreigners are making all of these local governments hate the flag. You know, all of these foreigners are coming in, and that's why local governments that are elected by the voting population of the local area get upset. Notice what he's trying to do here, and he's doing what every nationalist, white nationalist, tries to do, which is to set up a situation where the vocal white nationalists speak for the silent majority, that there is some groundswell of public support that validates the actions, the extreme actions of the white nationalist group. This is done not just in the UK, it's done also here in America quite a bit. He's trying to position that because it gives a sense of authority, a sense of legitimacy to this white nationalist movement. However, it's important to note here that nowhere in these articles are they really talking about foreigners or refugees complaining about this. It's the duly elected governments of these two respective places, right? And they're elected by people in the UK who are UK citizens, who are British, or, Scottish or Welsh or Northern Irish, And all of this is to say his point is very clearly bullshit if you just think about it for like 2 seconds.
Nothing happens. But again, it's a statement of intent. It's saying it's not your country. They were genuinely affected by the Raise the Colours campaign. I know it doesn't seem like it does anything particularly, but it gets in their heads and makes them feel like they're surrounded. It makes them feel like they're under siege, which is why they're taking legal action against you.
Well, I mean, the people doing the Raise the Colours campaign are have been found guilty of doing hate crimes. It's why they're banned from France, right? Like, it's not, the problem is they're not just raising flags, they're doing vigilante acts as well, and they're deliberately trying to stoke fear with targeted harassment campaigns against elected officials. A little bit different when you actually contextualize the events as they're happening.
And so, okay, if they feel that they win this one, great, but does it get rid of the problem? Does it change anything in the minds of people? Does it mean, good point, the council are taking legal action against us, so now we're not patriots? No, I don't think so. I don't think that's how it works. John, who lives in Bristol, in the Bristol suburb, told ABC, we're in England, why not support England, show the passion and unite the country, support them, why not? Why would they not allow that? And that's great. What we want is normal people being exposed to local woke councils, Lib Dems or Greens, being like, you must not fly an England flag. Because even though the average person is not like some sort of raging culture warrior, there's probably still, like with John here, just still a sense of like latent patriotism. Oh, wait a minute.
Well, but that's the thing, right? Like, people like John, if we assume he knows nothing about politics, isn't paying close attention to the fact, to what this hate group is doing, right? Isn't paying attention to what Raise the Colours is doing in France, isn't watching their social media, isn't seeing that they are using the flag that he would fly to support his team for the World Cup as a symbol of white supremacy. And I think if people like John understood that, they would suddenly not be like, what's the harm in flying the flag? Like, because they'd understand that it is making people scared to see a street covered in banners that they read as an attack on non-white people. Like, I don't know, if you walk down a street full of burning crosses in the deep south, might have a bit of a chilling effect. Just saying. Things that have been turned into hate symbols like that and not reclaimed are, disturbing when you actually understand what is disturbing about it.
Why wouldn't I be allowed to fly a flag in England? Like the adventures of the man who's just...
Also, you can fly a flag in England. No one's stopping you from flying it on your private property.
Paying attention, just like, why would they say that? So, it's intimidating to foreigners. And it's like, it's not true that patriotism is a deliberate intimidation of minorities. Our national flag, under the guise of supporting England, has been captured.
Well, but wait, you skipped the part in the previous article where the flag was used in conjunction with a harassment campaign to attack an elected local representative. It's not just the flag. That's the problem.
By those seeking to spread fear. Right, so this is great. Like, again, during the World Cup, England are playing. I'm not a football guy, so I'm not following it. But, it's a woke, diverse team. But the point is, they see our flag as a far-right symbol, and therefore, you're not allowed to fly a flag. You're not allowed to do that. So, okay. Okay, no, good. Again, show everyone. John here is going to be like, what? That doesn't make any sense. Like, no, it doesn't make sense.
It does make sense when you know that, again, the people who have popularized this trend are literally white nationalists who are using it deliberately so that they can recruit people like John who don't understand exactly what's happening.
It doesn't make sense that in a well-run, normal, functioning country that was taking your interests into account.
Yeah, I mean, the Nazis did that with the swastika. Like, it's true. Like, the swastika used to be like a Hindu symbol, and they reappropriated it as the Nazi swastika. And like, now most people, when they see a swastika, they think, oh, Nazis. They don't think, oh, Hindu symbol.
That you would be forbidden from flying the national flag. That doesn't make any sense at all. But if there were actually hostile forces that were occupying the positions of power in your country and forbidding you from flying your national flag because they saw it as a kind of...
It's still a Hindu and Buddhist symbol. Yeah, I'm just saying most people who aren't Hindu or Buddhist, when they see a swastika, they don't think Hinduism or Buddhism, right? I'm not saying it's not also a symbol. It didn't stop being a symbol in Hinduism, didn't stop being a symbol in Buddhism. But also, most people are still going to read it as a swastika from Nazi Germany. At least here in America and in Europe in particular, right? And when we're talking about the appropriation of symbols, like, yeah, concerted efforts by bad faith actors to co-opt symbols that otherwise are not white nationalist and white supremacist symbols, like, they can be successful. And in this particular case, the reason people want to get this off of public property is, one, because it's irritating as fuck and uses up public resources, but two, because it's being made into a white nationalist symbol, and they recognize that.
Show of native ethnic patriotism, and they wanted to actually suppress you as natives so that the settlers that they've brought here can feel more comfortable. And
it's our flag, we can fly it. Yeah, no one's stopping you from flying it on your own private property, dipshit. You just can't, like, go and, like, do whatever you like. I'm sorry, just because it's the public square doesn't mean you can go out into the middle of it and take a shit. Like, you can't just leave shit lying around on property that's not yours. It's not difficult. If you understand it when it comes to the concept of leaving a literal shit, you should be able to understand it when it comes to, like, leaving flags. Fly the flag on your own property if you want to. No one's stopping you from doing it. Like,
they own this land and not you. Well, that would make a lot more sense, wouldn't it? Like, it'd be a lot more crystal clear. Like, during the colonial era, if a country is conquered and a people implanted there, and the native flag is suppressed and the foreign flag is raised, like, say, with the pride flag.
We're fed up with being stabbed, raped, and groomed. You're far more likely to be stabbed, raped, and groomed by, like, a fellow white person in the UK. God damn. You guys are stupid as hell.
It does take on the aspect of...
Y'all just found, like, a really convenient scapegoat in the form of a marginalized minority with no power, and you chose to, like cowards, put all of the blame on that particular group instead of doing something about the systemic issues that plague your society. Like, say, billionaires sucking, like, ticks off of your society. No, it's not the billionaires siphoning billions of dollars to themselves. No, it's the impoverished refugees who are coming into the country who only want to do labor and build a life. Y'all are pathetic. Y'all are pathetic.
Colonialism, doesn't it? It does make...
Like, truly, white nationalism is the ideology of cowards.
Perfect sense. That's why they won't allow it. And it's just, be aware. Just be aware this is the country you live in. And then you add this to all the other two-tier nonsense that goes on. You see, I mean, there have been a load of videos recently of white English cops beating the living hell out of white English people. There was one where he threw a guy into a bollard, bent the bollard, and goes just out cold. There was another one in Rotherham, I think it was, where these two adult male cops were being confronted by, like, a bunch of teenage girls, like, you know, like 14, 15-year-old girls they look like, and they were lamping them in the face. And it's like, you would never see them doing that to non-white immigrant or people descended from immigrants. You'll never see that because it's a two-tier society, and the flag issue just highlights it. That's what this is all about, is to show you are a subject people. That's what these people are trying to tell you. So do keep thinking about why would they not allow that? Great question.
it's crazy. I do apologize to the rest of the world for America, like, injecting this particular bit of virulent racism into other parts of the world. You know, like the idea of two-tiered policing, where anti-white bias among the police. That's insane, right? Like that's actually fucking insane. Ah, yes, the British police. I'm sure they're trained to be more violent towards white people. That's an insane position to have. Right? Like people in like cops in the US will beat like a black child half to death for like shoplifting a candy bar. And like meanwhile, if like a white guy in the US like passes a $20 bill, they'll just be like, we're letting you off with a warning. Like, it's crazy. And the idea that the UK police would be racist but towards white people, that's insane. That's just insane. Yeah, literally last week, cops in the United States shot at I believe 2 women leaving a grocery store with a pack of diapers and a 1-year-old baby. And someone called the cops because they thought that they were shoplifting 1 pack of diapers. And the cops shot at the car for no fucking reason and killed that 1-year-old child. But like, he's trying to say, oh, well, the cops here in the UK, they're racist against white people. That's insane. Most cops in the UK are white. Like the idea that, oh, well, maybe the British cops, they just recruit from the self-hating whites. That's insane, dog. That's insane. Like, I'm sorry. The argument that the British police, the UK police are racist against white people just statistically is not true. It's just false. And it is false when it is said to be true in the United States, and it's false when it's said to be true in the UK. Sorry if this breaks a rule. If you see a mother stealing diapers or food for her baby, no, you fucking didn't. That doesn't break a rule, and no, you fucking didn't.
Need more questions like that. Why won't they do that? Why is this the case? Why are the police not arresting those people? Why are the grooming gangs never charged for hate crimes, even when they're like, she was a white slag and she was dirty because she's a white, or a white pig dog, and she deserved it because she's English or because she's white or because she's a kuffar? Why are these not hate crimes? Why is it we have all of these categories that apply only to the I say categories, penalties that apply only to the native English, but never, you can't fly a Palestine flag, because that's not intimidating. But you can't fly the flags of other countries. I mean, we see flags of foreign countries all the time. You can fly any of those, but you can't fly the England flag. Why?
You can fly it on your own property. Good God. These whiny babies.
Why would they not allow that? These are the questions we want normies to ask. And so, to be honest with you, like I said, I think the Raise the Colours campaign was actually a stupendous success. It showed people they weren't alone. Like, it was good to see the England flag flying around, and it's good to make them react. While they are not reacting, you can't win, because they currently hold the seat of power. Only in their reaction can the dialectic begin that ends with their downfall. So anything that provokes them and makes them respond, makes them overstretch, makes them burn up their capital, that's where our potential lies. So it was a superb campaign. Don't listen to any of the naysayers. I think it was an excellent campaign. It was really well executed by everyone involved, by the way, and it was everywhere. I mean, I still see the flags everywhere, actually, in Swindon. Absolutely excellent. I'm very, very pleased that it happened. But
God. Now, just real quick here, little story for you. According to the 2021 census, the total population of England and Wales was 59.6 million. 81.7% of the population was white. Interesting. White British made up the largest percentage of the population, followed by people in the white other category, and Indian 3.1%. Let's see here. Now, let's just take a look here, because I'm curious let's take a look at police use of force statistics by ethnic group in the UK, just because I think that'd be a little interesting exercise. Maybe show a little bit of curiosity here. So, use of force incidents against Asian people or Asian British was accounted for around 7% of cases of use of force. And that is actually a little bit lower than the percentage of Asian people in the UK. Let's see, black or black British, 11%. And yet, black British people make up only 4% of the British population, meaning that, relatively, someone who's black is significantly more likely to be the victim of police violence. Let's see here. Mixed ethnic group is relatively in line, but let's see here. White ethnic group made up 75% of use of force statistics, and 81.7% of the population in England and Wales is white. Meaning that you are actually less likely to be the victim of UK police violence if you're white, and more likely, by quite a bit, to be the victim of police violence if you're black. That's crazy. Now, I'm seeing some people say, but they commit crime at a way higher rate, which is interesting because this is not a question of criminality here. This is a question of use of force. A use of force incident is not, in fact, just gets arrested for doing a crime. This is gets beaten by cops. This is different than what you are assuming. Now, it's very interesting to me because Sargon's argument here is just that, like, white people are more likely to be abused by cops than black people, and that's just not borne out by the statistics. Why was use of force used? When we're talking about this, in a society where there was non-biased policing, use of force would be relatively equally dispersed among the different groups by
I wonder what the
proportion
UK's
of the
national
population.
dish is. Blood sausage. Bangers and mash? Fish and chips? Oh.
Now, my point in bringing this up is that Sargon of Akkad is alleging, hey, you are more likely to be beaten up by cops if you're white. And the point of me bringing this up is that that's just not true. It's just not true. I find the attempt to evade that untruth, and that I will even go as far as saying lie, deeply, deeply, frankly, self-serving. It is something that allows you to perpetuate your own ignorance. But again, the people who like Sargon of Akkad's content are people who revel in their own ignorance, right? Because the people who like this don't actually bother going into the details of, like, why did these events happen? They don't go and read the articles for themselves. They don't check anything about it. And ultimately, they just hang on his every word like it's the word of God. I encourage you, don't do that for me. Go look it up yourself. You can see that he's full of shit. One of the interesting things here is that, again, I've waited until the end of this to talk about it, but hey, worth noting that Sargon of Akkad used to was trying to be a British politician, right? And years ago, he talked about other British politicians and made some choice comments about whether or not he'd be interested in raping them. And that, of course, did not go over terribly well with a lot of folks in the who are politically aware, we'll say. And, well, here you go. Take a look at this.
Honestly, this makes my stomach churn. How does he find this acceptable? Comments like this may not seem a lot to a bloke like him, but to me, jokes about what I went through feel like a bullet. That's from a 31-year-old male survivor of sexual violence in Northampton.
And from a mid-20s female survivor, she thanked me for
How do
making
you
jokes like
respond
this.
to that?
I respond to that by saying, you've been lied to. You are misrepresenting what's happening.
This man
You are
has
misrepresenting what's happening.
This man has watched your video, he's read your comments.
I don't
How
think
do
he
you
has.
respond to what he says?
And the way that you report the comments is farcical.
I'll read you another one. The lack of empathy here from someone seeking public office is sickening. Rape is not funny. As a survivor, I'm angry.
There are two sides to every question, and I am empathizing with the other side.
May I finish, please? As a survivor, I'm angry because it's comments like this that would have prevented me telling anyone what happened to me, and I probably wouldn't be here today without that help. That's from a female survivor, aged 28, from London.
But you don't care about the survivor that talked to me. You only care about the survivors that bolster your narrative. Those survivors who are on my side on this issue, you ignore completely. You pretend they don't exist.
You said you've spoken to one person.
In one town. I've spoken to other people in other towns in the Southwest tour that I'm doing.
And they're all survivors of rape.
Or sexual assault, yes.
Rape Crisis, the charity say.
Can I ask? Hang on, look, right. I know what.
I'm
No,
asking
no,
you
no,
a question.
no, no. I know.
This is what
I know,
Rape Crisis say.
But you're not getting to the core of the issue.
Rape
this is very
Crisis-
surface level interrogation.
Rape Crisis say this. Experiences of rape and sexual violence and abuse are much more common than most people realise. Material that normalises, trivialises or attempts to get laughs out of sexual violence can be humiliating and upsetting for survivors. So-called rape jokes are not just insensitive, hurtful and disrespectful. They are damaging.
Yes, I'm aware of the politically correct narrative around this, but there is another narrative that I suppose we can call the non-politically correct one that I support. I think it's a lot more empowering not to be controlled by jokes. I think that owning jokes and laughing at them as a point. Why are you interrupting me?
Such a fun joke to talk about how you don't want to rape. Like that. What's crazy here is just like, well, no, I told a very funny joke and you guys just didn't understand it. Which is not at all what actually happened.
Interrupting me now, come on.
I'm interested that you won't accept that survivors of rape and sexual violence find what you've done to be incredibly hurtful.
And you won't accept that survivors of sexual violence find what I've done empowering.
Insane. Yeah, sexual assault survivors look at a guy saying, I wouldn't even rape her, and then they just roar with laughter. They think they're like, oh, what a funny joke, I feel so empowered. That's fucking crazy, dog. That's fucking crazy. Now, interestingly enough, just to add to the amount of bullshit that Sargon was spewing there, fun fact for you guys. The black population in the UK is around 4 times more likely to be stopped for like searches than white people. And also, oddly enough, if those black people go into affluent, mostly white neighborhoods, that number and likelihood of getting stopped and searched goes up to 38 to 48 more times likely to be stopped and searched than a white person. Now, what we know in the United States is that when stop and frisk was implemented and disproportionately impacted African Americans, the result of that was more police encounters with African Americans and more use of force toward African Americans, even on crimes where white people and African Americans committed them at roughly the same rate. Because of the racially biased mode of policing, more people were more African Americans were embroiled in elements of police violence because of racially biased policies. So, again, this idea that like, well, it's because they commit more crimes. No, statistically, they aren't committing more crimes. The crimes are committed at relatively the same rates among different racial and ethnic groups. With a little bit of flexibility here and there, because people are in different situations due to like different historical legacies. But by and large, the biased policing policies result in this escalation of violence where Black people in the UK are far more likely to be the victims of police brutality and police violence. It's not difficult to wrap your head around. And like, you can take a look. Here's a great article about it. Black people up to 48 times more likely to be stopped and searched in richest areas of London. It's not me just like bullshitting you guys. That is the case. Stop and frisk is completely illegal, violated the Fourth Amendment. True. It was terrible. It was a terrible policy in the United States. It's a terrible policy in the UK. Just want to also point out here, you know, I get the feeling maybe this Sargon guy shouldn't be the go-to for people's information about, you know, what is and is not and should not be morally acceptable. Just one last nail in this coffin here, courtesy of the Daily Mail. Now UKIP candidate who said he wouldn't even rape a Labour MP says it's okay to sexually abuse boys. Well, that's crazy. Maybe they're misconstruing this. Let's see here. Now a senior UKIP source has told the Mail on Sunday that they've passed a dossier to Wiltshire police containing deeply offensive remarks made by Mr. Benjamin, an online vlogger from Swindon who calls himself Sargon of Akkad. The insider says the dossier was passed with UKIP's ruling National Executive Council last autumn, but no action was taken. It includes a YouTube broadcast in which Mr. Benjamin says, quote, "I can be quoted as saying, you can fuck young boys. It's actually not as controversial as you think. Depends on the child, doesn't it? The ancient Greeks were pederasts. It was considered to be normal. It was mentoring." Unquote. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe this guy shouldn't be the moral hinge of any kind of movement anywhere in the UK or anywhere else. Just seems like maybe this is not the guy who has good ideas you should be listening to when he's out there talking about how saying he wouldn't even rape a woman is doing a service for rape victims, and saying he can be quoted as being on the record as saying it's okay to fuck children. You know, like maybe this guy doesn't have the UK's best interests at heart. Why does he still have a platform? Because racists love him. Racists love somebody who's willing to make up lies confidently for them to use. Full stop. That's it. Anyway, it's 2026, and I hope that this will be the last time we have to check in with Sargon of Akkad. And I'm deeply, deeply sorry to those in the UK who have to put up with this particular brand of white nationalism rising up and gaining political prominence, because it sucks. So with that being said, organize, folks. Organize. If you don't want people in the United States to have to deal with homegrown Sargons, organize. Join your local Dems, join your local DSA. If you need help, we can help you do that. Join our Discord. Reach out to GamerG for help joining your local DSA. Reach out to Dragonfly for help joining your local Dems. We can give you tips and tricks on how to make the most of your time at those groups. And also, folks, there's a link down below to get involved with Progressive Victory, which will allow you to do plug you in to do door knocking, phone banking, text banking, etc. for different campaigns for leftists across the country. Go check it out. Link down below. And also, if you got anything out of this, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment. Comments really help. Let me know what you think about the St. George's flag and the Raise the Colors campaign. And also, last but not least, check out ImogeneOlivia.com. Gender euphoric lingerie designed from the ground up for trans femmes. Also tested with cis men, cis women, non-binary folks. Is comfortable, sexy, non-tucking lingerie. Check it out, ImogeneOlivia.com. Link down in the description. Let's keep on going.
Riverboat Jack is coming to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube and swishy streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, dating, plenty more. Your sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord.